Good morning, folks. So I'm on Pinyon Pine Trail. This is my first time up here. It's on the way to Mount Charleston on Lee Canyon Road. And you turn at the Sawmill Campground Trailhead. Or Sawmill Campground on the right-hand side. That's before you get to Deer Springs Road. And at the very right, there's some parking spots. And I thought I'd get away from the crowds today. It's March 5th, 6th. I always lose my dates on the weekends. It's the beginning of March 2021. On a Saturday, 7:30 in the morning. You can see Lee Peak all the way back there. That's the Las Vegas ski resort. And that is Mummy's Head. So I'm on the northern side of Mummy Mountain, and this is what they would call a, I guess, low-lying trail. It's not, at high up elevation. I'm probably at about 7,000 feet. There's really little bit of snow here. It's not even snow, it's just ice at this point. And matter of fact, now that I'm up here, I'm sure this is going to be a beautiful trail. It's close to 8 miles. It's a loop. There's some juniper. I have a feeling this would be a great overnight backpacking trip just to get away. Maybe do a shakedown hike, test some equipment. Good morning, Mrs. Shadow. So yeah, I haven't been up at elevation in a couple months. I've been hiking down in Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area. So I'm a little winded, which happens when I don't visit the mountain too often. But this is gorgeous. I'm sure there's probably, if I went back there, there's probably some really beautiful flat camping spots. Obviously, you need to cart up all your water. There's no water up here. It's rare to ever find any water. Up on Mount Charleston, there's definitely snow. You could probably melt some of that. But that takes a lot of fuel. You're just better off carting it up here. Or bringing some dry foods that you don't need water to rehydrate. Some breakfast bars, stuff like that. Maybe even canned food, canned beans. Oh, that's a beautiful juniper tree. There's some really beautiful trees out here. These pinyon pines are beautiful. They're really big. Wow. I'm pleasantly surprised. I thought this would be really barren out here, but we are right above where you drive in and see the Joshua trees. Oh, I can see the ski resort from here. All the way back there. You can see the ski runs. Nice. It's about 45 degrees this morning. Perfect hiking weather. They say there's a total of about 1,600 feet of elevation gain on this trail. I've been doing half marathons in Red Rock Canyon, not to boast, but I really truly have been doing half marathons every weekend on the Grand Circle Loop Trail, and that has about 1,600 to 1,700 feet of elevation gain. I usually do a little bit extra than the loop to bring me to 13 miles, because that loop is about 12 and a half miles. And this trail so far has been pretty flat, but it looks like we're going uphill now. It looks like it's pretty easy to follow. This looks like it says trail, in case you don't know. Hikers have to yield to horses. Bikes have to yield to hikers. So in other words, everybody yields to horses. Oh, bikes are allowed on this trail. And then over here, we have another sign that also says trail. I'm gonna have to check my map. I don't want to go the wrong way. All right, I'll catch up with you guys when I'm further down. So we're about a little over a mile into this hike. Huge pinyon pines, juniper. Pleasantly surprised. This really reminds me of the Lovell Canyon trails on the southern side of Mount Charleston, up Lovell Canyon Road, almost behind Red Rock Canyon. You can still see, when you go back there, you can see Griffith Peak, because this is at about a little bit higher than that trail system, and we're starting to see some ponderosa. Nice. Also, because I'm completely alone out here, I'm getting a creepy vibe of perfect mountain lion territory. Puma, cougar, call it what you will. I'm thinking mountain lion territory. So I am talking and singing to myself, hanging out. I have my trekking poles just in case. And it looks like somebody came out here and did a little bit of home building here. They built a very crude fort, which is full of snow. But it looks like a really nice windbreak for a tent setup. Though I truly would not recommend this trail in the summer. And this was mud when the snow just recently melted, and those are deer tracks. So there are deer up here. Mule deer. It looks like a lot of them. Like a herd of mule deer. I can only be so lucky to possibly see them today. There's a lot of washes. Obviously, when there's heavy rains, these are flash floods. This trail does a lot of up and down. There's a lot of offshoots to this trail. So I would recommend using a hiking app. I use All Trails, which is really good. It'll keep track of where you're hiking with your phone GPS. I usually set my phone to airline mode or airport mode, so it turns off my cell phone data. And the views, wow, spectacular. Those are 11,000 foot mountains up there. And as I go up, temperature always drops. It's getting a little chillier, which is perfect. But a lot of this trail I can see is exposed. And I don't recommend this in the heat of the summer. If you're brave enough to do it, I would bring a lot of water. But yeah, it's very, very Lovell Canyon. It's obviously beautiful in the winter, as you can see. I've gone up a lot. Look at the road down there. I didn't realize how far I'd come. Very nice. I wonder when I'm gonna top out. I didn't really study the topo map. I know it's a very elongated loop. I just don't know what the upper altitude is. But the trails here, the ups are really steep. I'll tell you that. Really steep. This trail is suitable for, unfortunately, mountain biking. I don't really care for it because they are supposed to yield to me. They normally don't, so I have to yell out. Hikers have the right of way. I don't like doing it. But for the most part, they don't listen. The ones that do, they're very nice. And they do stop and they wait for me to pass, which is what they should be doing. And when I see horse, I always veer off to the high side of the trail. Not the low side, because you could fall, obviously. And you let the horses go by. If you're using trekking poles, pick them up out of the way, because I have met some horses that are spooked by trekking poles. Usually they're spooked by me because this is not a pretty thing when I'm hiking. Normally it's not. When I'm hiking, I'm like a Unabomber against the desert sun. I don't wear any sunscreen. I just cover myself completely from head to toe. Wow. Wow, when you get out of the tree cover, beautiful. Wow, I started all the way down there. That's pretty nice. Very nice. I believe this trail is going to require numerous repeats. I'm going to be visiting this again and again and again. Gorgeous. Next time I'll start much sooner, probably before sunrise, so I can get in here when it's still in the 30s. Because as you know, once the sun comes out in the desert, it heats up real fast. Usually the temperature change can be usually 40 to 50 degrees during the day. These trees are enormous. It looks like I've hit a ridge line because I can see the sky on the other side. This is really, if you can make it out here and you live in the Vegas area or you're visiting, I would suggest, not that the drive up here is beautiful, but I would suggest that you come up to Pinyon Pine Trail off of Lee Canyon Road. This is beautiful. All right, I'm back at a junction. Trail goes this way. Trail goes this way. I'm gonna have to look at my map again. All right, so I rounded a corner and I have a complete view of the 95 corridor that goes out into the Mormon Mountains. Oh, wow. This has put a big old smile on my face. Unreal. Just beautiful. Let's go over here off trail so you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah. Oh, look at that. This is a nice little area. See if there's any level ground up here. That beautiful rocky outcropping is Mcfarland Peak. I have taken the Bonanza Trail all the way across the back at about 10,000 feet to reach the bottom of Mcfarland Peak where the trail is. And then I turned back to the Bristlecone Trail. That's about a good 14-mile round trip hike. I didn't know that you could actually see Mcfarland. And if I'm not off my mark here, I believe that's Bonanza Peak. Oh, this is unreal. I really didn't know. I had no clue that you had such beautiful vistas, because I've read reviews about this trail, and to tell you the truth, most of the reviews are, oh, it's all right, it's boring, it's really rocky, it's okay, I wouldn't do it again. Are you kidding me? This is a gem. This is a find. You have baby pinyon pine, you have mountain sage, creosote. You have a mix between the desert and the mountain. And it's gorgeous. I don't know what the rest of it's like, but the first couple of miles are spectacular. Just breathtaking. The views from here are the views that I had when I was hiking the Bonanza Trail out of Cold Creek, at the Cold Creek trailhead. To get there, you need a four-wheel drive high clearance. You can't just take any streetcar. Look at these views. Oh, Lordy Lord, this is beautiful. To think that I have it all to myself. I'm still seeing deer hoof in the mud on the trail, so there's deer out here. I'm up at a ridge. I don't know how much longer this trail stays up here, but you can see hundreds of miles. I'd say 200 to 300 miles. The air is very clear. Obviously, there's no wildfires, no pollution. I think the wind is going to be pretty strong today, so it's pretty much blowing everything out. My cheeks hurt from smiling so much. Yeah, I feel like I'm on top of a ridge here. Definitely on top of a ridge. Wow, look at Mcfarland Peak. Oh, she's beautiful. You got Mummy Mountain. I think these are the sisters, Mcfarland and Bonanza. And you have La Playa out there. That's looking out towards Area 51 and the Nellis bombing range. The extraterrestrial highway. I was thinking of going up to Amargosa Valley. Not Amargosa Valley, my bad. Delete that. I was going to go up the Great Basin Highway and go up to Pahranagat Wildlife Refuge. There's a lake up there, and there's supposed to be like eagles and bald eagles and a lot of osprey. A lot of birds migrate through that area, and they stop off at the lake. People fishing up there. It's supposed to be beautiful. There's a trail that goes around the lake. Look at these beautiful junipers and the pinyon pine. I have just rekindled a new appreciation for these low-lying pinyon trees. Oh. The more I walk, the more I'm so glad I could bring you along. Look at these views. You can see the actual spine of the Bonanza Trail, where it takes you through all those mountains, and then the very last one. That's the end of the Mount Charleston Spring Mountain Range. I am blown away. This gets better by the step. And, wait for it, I'm by myself, socially distancing, not one human. Oh boy, this is gorgeous. Oh, I just can't say enough. There's a trail that goes up to those mountains, and it takes you up to a log cabin. It's a little cabin, I guess the Boy Scouts built up there, and there's a spring. I haven't gone to that yet because you need to go through a four-wheel drive road that I've heard is iffy, and if you get a flat tire, it's good luck getting out of there. Yeah, so so far have stayed away from there. I'm not sure when I'll go up there, but you can see a playa, which is it's like a dry lake bed. The views today are awe-inspiring. I'm almost to the point of speechless. I had no idea. I'm telling you, the reviews on this trail are lacking severely. This is beautiful. I can definitely say if you come up here when it's not winter, probably the shoulder seasons are fine, like right now, early March. But once April, May, June, it starts warming up to over 100. And down in the valley, it might get up to 80s, high 80s. Here, I would definitely bring my UV umbrella, my hiking umbrella, which makes it about 15 degrees cooler underneath it in the shade. So this would be a very doable hike. So if you're watching this, put this one down on your to-do list. If you're coming out to Vegas, if you live out here, come on out here. It's worth it. Please don't litter. Leave no trace. Don't put up any cairns. Even though my YouTube name is Trail Karen. C-A-I-R-N. Not K-A-R-E-N. I'm definitely not a Karen. If you're gonna go to number 2, please dig a hole and pack out your TP. Be responsible. It looks like the trail's going down, so I may be losing these beautiful views. So I'll bring you back. Winds are starting to pick up. Last night it said we would have wind gusts above 40 miles an hour. You can hear them coming on the ridge. I have definitely hiked in high winds before, especially up in Mount Charleston. I don't like hiking in high winds up there with the tall pinyon pine, ponderosa pine. A lot of them are dead, so they're standing snags, and as you walk by, they could fall on you. That could happen. Yeah, the winds are definitely picking up. This is going to be a fun hike. Looks like I'm going back up on a ridge again. Now the views are even more expansive. Holy moly. Wow. Viewpoint. And as far as you can see out there is all federal land. And that leads you up to Area 51 with all the creepy aliens. So I took an offshoot of this main Pinyon Pine Trail. It's on the All Trails app, and it has led me down to this very deep ravine, almost like a gully, a wash, whatever you want to call it. Prime cougar territory. And I can't be dumb enough to think that I haven't at least been watched by one. Still a lot of ice cover. I don't step on it because it's pretty much ice at this point. Yeah, I'm definitely deep down in a gully down here. I have checked my app and I am definitely still on the trail. There are no footprints, just animal prints. I doubt this area has been visited in a while. I could be wrong. I'm usually wrong about a lot of things. But when you don't see any footprints, especially when the snow has melted and you can see it's cracked. You see how my foot leaves a footprint right there? Yeah, nobody's walked through here. Not in a while. And since this is facing north, there's a lot of snow, which is of course beautiful. It's beautiful out here. This is as about serene as you can get anywhere in southern Nevada. This is incredible. So that's the wash down there. And the trail looks like it's up here. Matter of fact, the trail is up there, but it's under snow cover. So taking it, meeting back up with it up here. This kind of takes me back to the Wild Horse Canyon up in Mount Charleston off of the North Loop. It's very similar, where the trail is down in the canyon. Ooh. Looks like he met up with possible lightning. Who knows? This is a very, very beautiful, interesting portion of the trail. I have been going up and down a lot. I think I've lost probably close to 1,000 feet of elevation. There's another deadfall. It's eerily silent. The only sound out here are my footsteps. I'm surprised I haven't come upon any wildlife, as I am traveling on a section of trail that is rarely visited by humans. So you have to wonder to yourself, where are all the animals? Maybe they heard me coming and they scurried off. I've seen a lot of jays, like Steller's jay. Ooh, looks like I might have to sidestep this snow. back when there's something else worth viewing, which on this trail seems to be every 5 minutes. Alright, the trail has gone down in elevation enough for me to meet up with a yucca. No, this isn't yucca. This is, what are these cactus? They are, alright folks, my brain isn't working right now. There's a Joshua tree. These are Joshua trees. We have an entire national park for these, but we also have them down here in Nevada. And they are beautiful. And there's a lot of them here. On this trail, they look like little baby ones. They're growing pretty nice. So now my trail that was down on the other side of this ridge for about 2 miles has met up with the main trail again. Beautiful. These are beautiful. And of course, the views are expansive.